Hello, hello, check, check. How are you guys? Let's see. I don't know why I'm being prompted for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and play. Yeah, 1 second here. They are always changing things. But this has happened before where they've done that, so I don't know why. So it was asking me to set a goal. So I did. I went ahead and just set a goal for like one super chat or something like that. Anyway, I'm just happy that you're here. I'm just happy that you're listening. If you are here, if you are listening, whether you're live or on the replay crew, it's my second live today. Man, there was a time when I did 2 lives every day, and that was a while ago. Now I'm lucky that I can keep up with 1 a day. I do my best. So I'm here. You're not here. Maybe you are. Please hit your like button and share my channel with somebody that you think might like it. Turn on your notification bell to ring. Make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not, please, I beg of you, just hit that subscribe button. It's awesome to help the algorithm. So everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an infotainment platform, and it looks like everything is good to go, except to me. I'm kind of brain dead because it's almost 9 o'clock at night, tired, but I just wanted to come back on and talk about some of this stuff. It's so crazy. I can't stop running some of the stuff through my head, and then new things come to me with the absolute tragedy of Charlie Kirk getting assassinated. I mean, he practically got executed. He was definitely assassinated, and it was definitely a professional hit. I don't care what anyone says. If it was that 22-year-old kid that did it, the guy who's confessing and saying that he did it, Tyler Robinson. So what, he's been secretly training to be a professional assassin? I mean, it's possible, especially with video games. I guess you could get really good at that with video games, come to think of it now. I'm such an old fart. I don't even think of these things. Whoa. So I did look up things about scopes, for target shooting, and how they got such a precise spot in just one bullet, and how that one of the 2 men that were standing right behind Charlie Kirk doing their weird hand signals, one of them was holding the phone really close. It's hard to tell how close he was to Charlie because it was a zoom lens when you're looking at that footage on online. But they were his security guards. You see them in other photos of him at other places, on other days, in other outfits, like the one that I used for my thumbnail. And Charlie's wearing his Gulf of America t-shirt, just trying to be obnoxious, in my opinion. And then that guy standing behind him that looks like an FBI guy with all the tattoos, and he was the one in the dark t-shirt on the day that this happened. What was that, Tuesday? And so the first guy with the white hat, I'll do it again. He did his like click, click on the top of the hat. And then a minute later, he does the click, click on the ear. And then he's like doing some stuff, patty cake. I don't know. And then that was the guy in the white t-shirt with the white hat. And then you got the guy in the black t-shirt who does like a distinctive like punch, rolls up his sleeve. And you can look online and you can see these hand signals. Fred Field, woohoo, here for a bit. I was headed to bed. How are you, sir? How you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, do you have to work tomorrow? I know whether you work or not, you have an early schedule. You got to keep that schedule. My husband works nights, so I know how that goes. He works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 12-hour shifts. So, yeah. if you're going to not get sick and not break your body down, you got to keep your schedule like that, even on your days that you're not working. So I want to show off the necklaces that I made because, you know, I always like a good distraction when I'm talking about such tragedy. So, you know, Fred, I've made some parallels between the, I finally wrote her name down. Irene, I think is how you say her name. Zaruska. I think it's Irene Zaruska, the beautiful, beautiful Ukrainian model, 23 years old, that was cut with a sharp object in the neck on the, I think it was like a light rail train system in North Carolina. It was all the way back in August 22nd. I wrote it down. So that was 3 weeks ago. And a lot of people missed it. Charlie Kirk was one person who actually talked about it. And he was mad that more people weren't paying attention to it. And I was wanting to pay attention to it. I was just too distracted by all the other things I was wanting to pay attention to. And she was cut 3 times in the neck with the sharp object by the guy who'd been arrested 14 times in the last 14 years. And I wanted to make that correction too, because in a video that I did a couple of days ago, I said that she was stabbed. Oh, I'm not supposed to use that S word, am I? 14 times, and that was incorrect. He was arrested 14 times over the last 14 years, and she was cut 3 times. So I thought watching the video, you know, like they show it all happening. Like you can watch the entire thing from start to finish, but I thought they were like skipping how many times that he did it, so it wasn't as bad. But I can't believe they're showing these videos of these people getting red-rummed online, Fred. Like, what has disintegrated our moral, ethical standard for this type of thing? I mean, it's unheard of. I think they've taken down all the video of Charlie being assassinated on television, but for a few days you could watch the entire effing thing. Both of them slumped over instantly, and both of them had the life drained out of them instantaneously. And there's a lot of similarities. And then after making all these parallel correlations over a day or two, after one of my videos yesterday, I think I just did one yesterday, maybe I did 2, I don't know, I feel like this stuff really needs to be talked about. I thought, you know, maybe I'm being a little nuts connecting these 2 things. Like maybe they're not connected. And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, but, you know, our president is focused on these 2 assaults. He's speaking about these people at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office on television. So it seemed like he was trying to use the one of the Ukrainian model, Irina, I think is how you say her name. I don't think it's as difficult as I thought it was with the Iryna. It's just spelled different. Or maybe it's an E at the end. Anyway, Irina, I think. Miss Zaruska. It seemed like he was trying to use it as an excuse for people to be racist and to possibly, in my opinion, even instigate the kind of like civil war that it seems like he's been trying to instigate. And then certainly with Charlie Kirk, that was completely apparent, again, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly, that he was trying to wage war, a civil war. And all of this is a huge distraction. I can't say it's an attempt at a distraction because it's absolutely successful, but I don't think any of us are going to lose sight of the Epstein files, the 18,000 emails that were released a couple of days ago to Congress, the 230 some odd page birthday book that was uploaded to the cloud so that we can all page through little E's birthday book. any time of the day that we want to. I've put the link to that birthday book in a couple of my most recent videos, and I can put it in the description of this video too. Horrifying. And half of the crap is blacked out, it's redacted, and it's still horrifying. And, you know, I see stuff like that. Like, it's not that, you know, I've never seen anything X-rated. Obviously, I'm a full-grown woman. But it's absolutely vile. I mean, these people are celebrating the whole pedo thing. They're absolutely celebrating it. So, Fred, I've been saying how Donnie can deny that he made that birthday card. He can deny that that's his signature. He can deny that he had anything to do with the birthday book, but he can't deny the other 30 birthday cards or letters in that book that refer to him as being more of a scumbag than little E, in my opinion. And again, even little E thought that Donnie had no moral compass and that he was afraid of him. And I believe he articulated that shortly before he was Epsteined. And so many people have been Epsteined in that story. Anyway, right now, I think that Charlie Kurtz on Aliver, Tyler Robinson, and all of this heat on Kash Patel, which needs to be there, but at the same time, it's all just to distract our attention and the media away from the Trumpster fire that he is, a full-blown Trumpster fire. The emails, the letters, he really should step down. He's like way past the point. We know he never will. We know he's too much of a megalomaniac and narcissist and stubborn and king of the universe. Kash Patel wrote a children's book about Dear Leader being the king. That's why Donnie loves him and is going to try to fight for him. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep Kash alive in his role as the head of the FBI anymore. I don't think that's going to fly. And are they even going to interview those two guys with those hand signals? Fred, did you see the freaking hand signals? Did you see them? I'm not talking crazy talk. Like the other stuff about the two being similar could sound crazy, and I'll get it more into that in a minute about where there's so many similarities. And I don't know. I just don't know. I've been getting really fatigued at work. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Christmas is getting stock in the store. Yeah, it's an exhausting. I did not see them. It's like the busiest time of the year in retail right now, between right now and October. I mean, the sales are busiest from Black Friday until Christmas Day. But getting the retail stock in order, I know, is right now. And all of October. I mean, it's the busiest time. So, wow, Fred, you're going to want to see these two guys. So my kid was the first one to tell me about these two guys making hand signals behind Charlie Kirk in the moments before he gets the slug in his neck. And I thought, okay, you know, she's 13 and it's TikTok and, you know, they might be using their imaginations a little bit. And she shows it to me and I'm like, yeah, that's really bad. And so, you know, I've looked it up a bunch of times and you can't convince me that they're not doing hand signals and that they're not working with the shooter. But the thing that I put in the title of this video and that I haven't even thought about and comprehended until since after my last video today is that the man who took the sharp edge object into Irina's neck on August 22nd, as he was walking off that train, he said, I got the white girl. I got the white girl. I think he said it more than once. I got the white girl. He was just talking to himself. He's kind of schizophrenic or full-blown schizophrenic. And people, when Charlie Kirk got hit, people were saying they got him, they got Charlie, and they weren't saying it like, oh no, they were saying it like they were glad. There might have even been a "we got him." I'm not sure. I have to go back and listen to these things. But a lot of the same kind of concept and the same verbiage with Irina and Charlie. Like, people don't take someone's life and then say, I got him. I got him. Like, that's not a thing, but it is with these two. So why is that? Why is that? It's almost like they're reading from the same playbook or something. Yeah, let me see what I got here in my notes to keep me on track. What was it that I said a minute ago that I was going to get back to? Some of the more parallels, like just that they're both like young, white, good-looking Americans. Well, sorry, not American. Irina is Ukrainian, but she's in America. So both of these things happened in America. North Carolina, much more liberal than Utah. Utah is a very conservative state. I looked up the other day on Google, like what the most conservative states are, and it was interesting. I mean, a lot of it wasn't surprising. Utah is definitely towards the top. Ohio's not too far down there. I'm in a pretty conservative state too. It had Ohio ahead of Texas even. But anyway, Indiana's ahead of Ohio as far as conservative. So they were both hitting the same place. They both slumped over and had the life taken from them instantaneously. And I said it in my video earlier today, ceasing to have your bodily functions keeping you alive, those don't usually cease instantaneously unless you're like crushed or something. It takes time for the process of unaliving to happen. So it's really weird that you could freaking watch these two people be red-rummed on the YouTube. They took most, if not all, of the video footage of Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't think that that's up anymore. Like, you can see parts of it. You can still see the hand signals because that was all like right before it happened. Like, then it happens. And I'll put a video, like a 3-minute video that shows that, and then it cuts off right when the sound of the firing happens. But it's very, very odd. I'm losing track of some of the other things about him that struck me as so similar. There's also the weirdness of the inscription on the shell casings used in taking Charlie Kirk out. That Luigi had the inscriptions on his shell casings. Like, what's up with that? Like, who puts inscriptions on their damn shell casings? I've never heard of that. That to me is very curious, very curious. Let me see. And yeah, I wonder if the Charlie Kirk show will continue. It sounds like it will. His wife, Erica, sounds like she's all over it. I mean, my heart breaks for her. And at the same time, it's just like, how can you stand behind these vile beliefs? These really, really misogynistic beliefs. Like, do you know that you're a woman and that misogyny is the hatred of women? Okay, sure. But yeah, I know that there's women who are misogynists for sure. Yeah, it's just out of control. It is so sad. We got Charlie. I got the white girl. So strange. So the guy in the black t-shirt that does the hand signals, the one that's in the thumbnail with all the tattoos, the thumbnail of this video right now that we're in, he seems to match the Secret Service guy's physique and facial features and hair and sunglasses. The Secret Service guy that's next to Trumpster Fire in his fight, red stuff on the face, upside down flag photos from that photo op when he, I believe, had a staged assassination attempt. It looks like the same guy. I Googled it, and of course, Google says, no, it's not the same guy. There's an actor who lives in Beijing whose name is Terry Crossman, and that might be him in both the Charlie Kirk video and in the assassination attempt from last year in Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania. Terry Crossman, 62 years old, lives in Beijing. I don't know. You can look it up and tell me what you think. Again, of course, AI and Google say, no, it's not the same guy. That's just an internet rumor. As if it's going to say, yes, it's the same guy, right? I mean, we know who's in charge of Google and AI and all that stuff. But those two guys behind Kurt really need questioning. And that bearded guy that's yelling to the camera, does he yell fight, fight, fight? Or he just yells USA, USA. And then he has made videos explaining himself and saying how he's a MAGA guy and he was just trying to be a distraction. And again, I'll put a link to one of his videos in the description too. It's very odd. And he's turning around looking at where the shot came from, and he's not afraid of anything, and he's smiling, and he's, upright, whereas everyone else is like crouching down to the ground because it was just one shot that rang out, but you don't know how many more to come. You do not know. And I think everybody knew that Charlie got hit. It was easy to see. They probably even had him on teleprompters because there were like 3,000 people at that event. And he's like way in there under that tent. And that's probably why he's way in there under that tent, is for safety. He wears a bulletproof vest. He's got a security team. It's just not right. Absolutely not right. So Trumpster Fire is talking about having some quick trials through this process, and that would make sense if you're trying to hide things. Our judicial system is not quick. He knows that. He's sued people over 4,000 times in his life. Get real. But yeah. I definitely don't believe that Tyler Robinson was acting alone. The man that I was talking about a second ago, cheering with the beard, they have his name all over the internet. Like, it's Matt Tabor is what a lot of people are saying. And then also somebody threw out the name David, but a lot of people are saying it's Matt Tabor. Did you know that the Trumpster Fire has been talking about building that ballroom that he's talking about again now? Like the second his buddy Charlie Kirk, his body's not even cooled down, and he's talking about that damn ballroom. Do you know he's been talking about building that ballroom for 15 years? He offered to build it when Obama was in office. He presented this plan to Obama, like, let me build this big, beautiful ballroom. I think 2010 was when he presented it to Obama. And I'm not sure about this. I need to do more research, but we know that he did offer little E a position in the cabinet of his first administration. And little E said, no, thank you very much. He knew better. But now it's seeming like that was what he wanted little E to help him with, was the ballroom in his first presidential, whatever you call it, stint. first time around. Sorry to ditch you. Oh, you're fine. I'm falling asleep in my chair. No, thank you, honey, for coming in and saying hi. Much love to you, Mr. Fredfield. You're the best. And yeah, have a good night's sleep. It's so important to get your beauty rest, right? And especially when you've been getting extra fatigued at work. I'm glad that you're able to work, though. I'm glad that you can get your sleep, because there's nothing worse than insomnia. So what else did I want to talk about? It is we're just almost half an hour in. The fact that South Park made so much fun of Charlie Kirk in their first video of the season, I would think that they would do a tribute to him, or at least something, some kind of statement. I mean, I honestly don't think that they need to apologize for anything. And for those that are familiar with Charlie Kirk and familiar with the South Park of the season, one of the things they were making fun of him with is calling him a master debater. And I thought that was a South Park thing. Charlie Kirk called himself a master debater. He has like t-shirts and stuff for sale that say master debater. So there's that. And I mean, really, he was going for like the shock jock thing. He was trying to upset people. He was trying to instigate and be controversial. That's how he was making his money, just like Rush Limbaugh, just like Alex Jones. I don't think that we can take everything that he said that he believed in. I don't think that we can take him like at face value. Like, yeah, I'm sure overall he was fine with those ideas, or he wouldn't have been spreading them. But he was probably encouraged. The more he saw that it upset people, and the more controversial things were, he probably would, double down on that kind of crap. The transphobia, the sexism, the racism. I mean, I know that there are plenty of people that are into that kind of BS, but I also know that some people just like to debate, like master debater. Some people just like to pick a fight, and it's like they think it's funny if they can upset you, and not just funny, but it makes them feel powerful if they can like inject that stress into you and basically manipulate you like that. So, I don't think any of us need to apologize for being like grossed out at his ideas and the venom that he spewed. I think that I don't think anybody should be celebrating him getting assassinated. Like, no matter what you think of him, no matter what you think of anybody. I mean, that's just, I believe in capital punishment after a fair trial, but I don't believe in anybody being the judge, the jury, and the executioner at all. Not at all. So when they hadn't let the information out about this 22-year-old white Mormon kid being the shooter, Trumpster Fire was espousing that it had to be a trans radical lunatic left person, and that he was definitely going to be pushing for the capital punishment. And then now that they've got the guy, he's like, let's talk about my ballroom. I mean, it's really disgusting. He's so wrapped up in his ego and his projects. When 9/11 happened, on the day that 9/11 happened, and he knows people that passed away in that, and he might have already even known that same day, but a lot of the people he probably wouldn't have known about until some time passed, who exactly were the victims of the 9/11 Twin Towers. Horrible tragedy. But that same day, he was like reveling in the fact that his Trump Tower was going to be the tallest building in that part of Manhattan, like the financial district. Like Like, it's one thing to think it, it's another thing to say it out loud. The man has no impulse control. No impulse control. And for that, we can thank him, especially as he gets older and crazier. And, you know, the loose lips sink ships, and he just ends up telling on himself again and again and again. He can't zip it. He can't put a sock in it. The other thing I have spoken about some with his Trump Tower that I want to speak about again, the fact that it was 68 floors tall, Trump Tower in Manhattan, 68 floors tall. His apartment, his dwelling, his penthouse apartment, and his offices are on the 68th floor. But it's really only 58 floors if you count them. I think that they skip, let me ask Google. I think they skip 55 through 65 or something. Let me see what Google will tell me about it. But yeah, it's 58 floors tall. Isn't that nuts? Which floors does the Trump Tower skip between 50 and 68? That's hilarious. This is definitely manipulated by his people. Between floors 50 and 68, the Trump Tower in New York City does not skip any floors. The building was designed with 58 stories, but lists the highest floor as 68 for marketing purposes. The discrepancy is due to the following. Okay, let's read this. The residential portion of the building begins on the 30th floor, not the first, to account for the height of the lower commercial floors and a 5-story atrium. When developers designate the floor numbers this way, they often skip floor numbers that are not actually in the building's physical structure to increase the floor count. Therefore, while the floor numbers are skipped in the building, none are skipped between 50 and 68 because these floors represent the highest residential portion of the tower. Interesting. So the 5-story atrium is where they skip 5, and then where do they skip the other 5? Let's see, deeper dive into this. It's not telling me. What are the floors that are skipped in the Trump Tower? So 10 floors are missing from Trump Tower. In the New York City Trump Tower, the floors numbered 6 through 13 were skipped in the elevator numbering. While the building officially has 58 floors, the highest floor is labeled 68, a marketing strategy designed to make the building seem taller. Is that to overcompensate for having a small member, I wonder? You know, kind of like having a big truck or big, you know, a big piece. And yeah, a lot of buildings skip floor 13 and room 13 because of people taking themselves out on those numbers as a superstitious belief of an unlucky number. But yeah, my point with bringing that up is that it's just another lie, and it's just another way of manipulating people's brains. And so everybody who works there and everybody who lives there knows that it's 58 floors, but they have to say that they're on the 68th floor. Anna Bees, you're back. Girlfriend, how are you? I'm so happy to see you. Fred had to go. How are you doing? You said you worked last night, so are you all refreshed? Do you work tonight too? Or are you at work? I won't tell anybody. I just wanted to come on again and talk more about the Trumpstein files, the emails. Do you know that they dropped 18,000 emails? They being the Congress has 18,000 emails from Little E's email account, and hundreds of them say not good things referencing Donnie, dear Donnie. So coupling that, which that happened, I think the night before last, coupling that with Monday night when Congress was not only given the entire birthday book that didn't exist, they also uploaded the entire thing to the effing cloud. Have you looked at it, Anna Bees? I was supposed to work, but I'm sick. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, at least we get to hang out then. Lovely, my dear. I'm sorry that you're sick. That's no fun. I hate being sick. I do. So, oh my goodness. In my video earlier, Anna Bees, the screenshot that I use for the thumbnail is from Paula Poundstone's most recent short, where she's got this whole series that I didn't even know about until today, where she starts with like, "Hi, it's me, Paula Poundstone. I'm just here playing with my cats. Mr. President, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. I'm sorry to bother you. I don't want to be rude." But, and so the one that's most recent, which was the first one that I saw and the one that I put the link to in the description of my video from earlier today, she plays a video of Trumpster Fire talking about his ear bleeding. And he says these words. I had to write these down. He says, statistically, the ear bleeds the most. Statistically, that doesn't even make sense. The man does not know how to use language or words. Plus, the ears don't bleed that much. The head bleeds a lot. The head bleeds more than other body parts. You know this, Anna Bees, because you're a nurse. But the ears, unless you're like having your eardrum ruptured and you're bleeding out of your ears, the ears themselves don't bleed that much. I mean, how many of us have had pierced ears with no blood, right? I mean, sometimes you get like a drop of blood, but usually like with the piercing guns, you don't even get a drop. But statistically, the ear bleeds the most. Like, such a lunatic. Like, he just says whatever he wants to say, and then people don't argue with him because half the time we're not really paying attention. You know, we don't really take it all in because we're just like, oh, that guy talking again. We know that he's blowing smoke and spewing BS. We know that. I heard something about the emails. I tried to look at the birthday book, but it kept kicking me out. Oh, you should be able to look at it through the cloud link that I put in a couple of my videos the last couple of days. And let me see if it works. Because, yeah, I think it looks like it's going to kick you out, but then it doesn't. Let me try it real quick. Just so I know specifically if mine is working. Because, yeah, I mean, he might have been able to like get it locked down or something. You know, I'm sure he could if he wanted to. Let's see. So my own video and the link to the cloud. I think it was probably in yesterday's description. Is it there? I got the dabbling chick on TikTok. No, I don't think it's in the one from yesterday. Let me see. Skip, go back, look at another video. Probably the shared girlfriend one. I bet it's in there. Let's see. I can't believe I'm not finding it. Oh, I wonder if it's been deleted. That can't be. I mean, I think that the link would still be there. It would just like it just would not take you there, like what you were saying. Okay, here it is, the document cloud source. And when I tap on it and I go Google Chrome, it is documentcloud.org. Yep, Jeffrey Epstein 50th birthday book, document cloud, sign in. So it's 238 pages. I didn't sign in when I looked at it. It's a PDF. You can kind of see it's professionally bound, and I don't know if I'll be able to enlarge that. Yeah. And on the neck of the book, or what do you call that? The spine of the book? I forget. That part, where it's bound, it says the first 50 years. And that's pretty classy looking if it wasn't for him, right? And then you just scroll through. First, you have your table of contents. Here, I'll blow it up so you guys can see. It says like family, Brooklyn, girlfriends, children, friends. So, a lot of redactions there. It has a lot of names listed, like Bill Clinton, Jean-Luc Brunel, Leon Black, Alan Dershowitz. What other names that we all might recognize? And then it's like you just scroll through like this. Peter Mendelsohn, that's the guy that I was reading about earlier that was forced to resign. I think he was just forced to resign yesterday. That's why I was reading that, because we need to follow suit. So Peter Mendelsohn, Donald Trump right there. And it's funny, one of them is listed as unknown. So that they're listed under friends. Then you have science, girlfriends, special assistants, business, the next 50 years. And then it starts with a little love letter. Well, you can't see it at all because it's skinny pen writing, and it's from Ghislaine. The idea behind the book was simply to gather stories and old photographs to jog your memory about places, people, and different events. Some of the letters will definitely achieve their intended goal. Some, well, you will have to read through to see for yourself. I know you said you will delay looking through the book, but I hope you will something so much. I hope you will cherish so much. Man, she's got some pretty bad writing. I have really bad penmanship, so I can say that about somebody else. I hope you will cherish so much something looking through it on I did putting it together for you. Does that make sense? I hope you will something as much. I don't know. Maybe I hope you will derive as much pleasure. There, I got it. I hope you will derive as much pleasure looking through it as I did putting it together for you. Happy birthday. Love, Jizz. Yeah. And then Cub Scouts graduation. That's disgusting right at the beginning. Lots of little kids. and amusement park stuff. That's always a good place to find kids, right? And schools and bunkers and lots of scantily clad. Let's see what else jumps out at me. But yeah, you guys can go look at this one. And let me just see, like I did earlier today, if I can right now copy it and put it in my description of the video that we're in right now. Let me see if that'll work. It will. It's going to let me do it. That is so fancy. I feel so high tech. Let's see. Okay, there it is, Annabes. So you can try it right now while we're on live. See if that link works for you. It should be the only thing that's in the description of this video right now, if you have a way of opening that up while we're doing our live. Yeah, I tried reading through the whole thing and it literally made me sick. It literally made me sick. Like, it just looking at that much kind of makes me sick because I know what's in it, even though I didn't like really absorb much just now. I'm going to have to go throw up. I mean, it is filthy, disgusting crap. And I'd have to go through with a fine tooth comb or just watch someone's video that already did that, like Midas Touch. And there's like 30 letters that specifically mention what a scumbag our dear leader is with this pedophile who was put in prison. So who else was Epstein? Jean-Luc Brunel was Epstein. And then the other guy, Ron Eppinger, was also Epstein. Virginia Giuffre was Epstein. Carolyn Adriano was maybe Epstein. The twin, I'm having trouble remembering her name. The one that died in 2017, that has an identical twin. And then Carolyn Adriano, I think, was the one that was in 2023. It was after Jiz was convicted. It's so sick. It's so sick. In my mind, I'm convinced that the Trumpstein fire ordered the hit on little E. In my mind, I'm also convinced that he had everything to do with Charlie Kirk. I'm just going to say it. Maybe I'll get my channel taken down. Maybe I'll get sent to El Salvador. This man is a freaking monster. Let me, hold on one sec. I mean, we can't be afraid to say what we think, I could be completely in left field, but that's what I think. Charlie Kirk had been all over, release the Epstein files. That was his shtick. And then a few weeks ago, he came on the air, and I only saw it because I think Hal Sparks played it, because I never had seen his channel. But it was played a lot of places. He said, I was told to not talk about the Epstein files anymore. And, I'm just going to trust my government right now. And I'm just not going to talk about them anymore. When just the previous day, he'd been pushing hard on that. So that was a couple of weeks ago. And then I think because of the birthday book getting uploaded on Monday night, he went back into his mode of, we need to see the files from head to toe. He was adamant that everybody who did anything to hurt a child needed to be tried and convicted. And, on that, yeah, I agree with that man 100%. Absolutely. Let's see. He lies about everything. I don't miss the days we used to have to decipher doctors' handwriting. Thank you, Jazz. You are more than welcome. No, I can't look at it right now, but I will later. Yeah, I recommend not looking at it when you're still recovering from your illness, because remember last week, Annabes, I thought I had COVID. And I think it was actually, I literally think it was that I was sick because of all this. That was a couple of days before that document, the birthday book. But then once that birthday book was released, it's like the freaking, what felt like COVID came back for like half a day after looking through too much of it. I was trying to get through the whole thing and I just couldn't. Like, I was just ready to freaking die. And that's with maybe 25% or more being completely redacted. So it's like you don't even want to know what is under or behind the redactions. It is just nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating. And then the references to the shopping trips. We talked about that in the last day or two, and the references to like Yum Yum. I really believe that these people did the thing that Jeffrey Dahmer did. And certainly they're doing that metaphorically when you have the Fuentes, I can't even think of his name right now, you know, Nick Fuentes and the Charlie Kirk followers like fighting each other. And then what was the word of the like gropers or something like that? Let's see. Nick Fuentes followers. What are hardcore Nick Fuentes followers called? Yeah, it's GROYPERS. Have you heard about this, Annabes? Hardcore followers of Nick Fuentes are called gropers or the Groper Army. This far-right internet-based movement is organized around Fuentes and his America First platform. So you know that he got kicked off of every platform, I think banned for life from every platform. So he made his own platform. And maybe that's called America First. I'm not sure. The term became prominent in 2019 during the Groper Wars, a period when Fuentes' followers disrupted events hosted by more mainstream conservatives like Charlie Kirk of Turning Point USA. The groupers, sorry, I don't know how you're supposed to say it. We'll just call them the gropers. The gropers accused Kurt of being insufficiently nationalist and pro-white. The ideology, according to the Anti-Defamation League, gropers are alt-right, white nationalists, and Christian nationalist activists who promote anti-Semitic, racist, and homophobic views, often disguised behind rhetoric about traditional values. The goals, the movement aims to push white nationalist and extremist ideas into the mainstream conservative sphere. They advocate for closing U.S. borders to immigrants and oppose what they see as liberal values, including feminism and LGBTQ rights. And let me just say right here that when I was in college, there were things called snags. Did you have snags where you were, Annabes? And that was a sensitive new age guy. So, you know, if you were kind of the progressive mindset, which I was, I went to a progressive college, Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington. So, but it was like a joke, you know, because the whole thing with everything being politically correct, politically incorrect. So, you know, us straight chicks would try to find guys that were snags. And I got one and I still have them. I got to tell you something funny about that because he's likes to undermine me like every step along the way of my life. The other day I took the kefir out of my refrigerator and I set it on the counter, and then I had to go do something with one of the dogs, and I came back and I couldn't find the kefir, and I was like, oh my goodness, where did I put it? I'm looking everywhere. He's there in the kitchen. And I give up, and then finally I find it in the refrigerator. And I'm like, did you do that? He's like, yeah, you left it out on the counter. I was like, I just took it out. And then I went to do something for a second, and then I couldn't find it. And you could have said that you put it away. It drives me effing nuts. But, you know, these are like the biggest complaints I have about my husband. So I'm like, how can I live like this? Like, should we get a divorce? Like, quit putting the kefir away when I'm trying to use it. But, you know, I mean, like I said, he is a snag. But we definitely have our differences, and, you know, but those are some of the worst things that he does. Like, I'm constantly opening windows for fresh air when it's nice out. He's constantly like walking behind me, closing the windows. And I'm just like, stop. You got to have fresh air. But anyway, okay, I'm going to keep reading some of this after I read what you're saying here. I think they had him taken down. I've been having a fever today. Oh no, how high is your fever, Anna Bees? It's so weird. So just exactly like Charlie Kurt. Funny they didn't like each other. Well, of course, because they were having a pissing contest. And Patricia Moss is here. Hello, my dear. How are you? Nursing program was separate from the college campus, so I didn't intermingle with other college students. Yeah, and not too many male nurses. That's what my son in the Navy, that's what he wants to do, is become a nurse. He's still in DC, but he's going to be going to, what do they call it? The like A school or B school. I think it's B school in Texas. He's going this month, I think. He's going to be away from his wife and baby. It's so sad. For like 9 months, I believe. He's doing like I think they call it hospital. Do they call it hospital corps? Something like that. Annabes, you probably know. It's like a corpsmanship program or something. Like, you learn how to do everything in the hospital from head to toe so that you can, you know, do everything that needs to be done when people are wounded. Whatever country you're in, whatever facility they have or don't have. Nursing program was separate from the college campus, so I didn't intermingle. Okay, I read that one. Oh darn, I missed the hub spin story. Patricia Moss, it was really juicy. Like, he puts my kefir away when I take it out of the fridge, and then I walk into another room for a second. That was the whole story. So yeah, you can catch it later. It's really, really minor. I mean, we've been together for 35 years. So he did that a few days ago, and I mentioned it to my daughter kind of in jest, my 23-year-old daughter. I was like, you know, these are the things that I'm just like, I don't know if I can keep living like this. And then I actually had a talk with him about it this morning. I was like, honey, you got to not be doing that with the kefir. And he did something like that with the dogs. Like, you know, I'm the one that feeds the dogs, and it's like a big deal because we have 3 dogs and you have to keep them from getting each other's food. And he was like sabotaging me. And it's kind of like an Olympic sport, making sure that the dogs don't get into each other's food. And so I had everything under control, and he like undid what I did, and then he left for work, like literally, like right away. And I was just like, ah. So between the dogs and the kefir, I'm like, that's it. We're filing. Yeah, right. Let's see. Cute story about your hubby. He's a good one. He is definitely a snag. He's definitely a sensitive new age guy. Although now he's just an old fart, you know. He was a sensitive new age guy. I mean, he's still got it in him, but it's funny. Just, he was like 21 when we met. He was 21 when we met. I think he was 23 when we got married. And now he's what, like 56, I think? I can't remember. 57? He might be 57. I don't know. I'm like a year and a couple of months older than him. This will be my hello to you, Annabes. Cute. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, we've had real fights too, but you know, we're just like old farts. We're just an old married couple. We're going to fight about the kefir and the dog food. And, you know, sometimes it's just nice to not have to work so hard at it. I mean, 35 freaking years. We met in 1990. We got married in 92. Is that crazy? And we've got 4 kids and now a grandkid. I'll be totally honest with you. I was feeling a lot of stress right before the son in the Navy came to visit us with the grandbaby. And I was like wanting to like go stay at my friend's house. And I'm like, I just got to stick it out until the grandbaby comes and goes. I don't want to complicate things while the family is here. But that was part of it. Was I was the only one like organizing the house and cleaning it to get it to be all baby proof. And, you know, that was probably what it was. I was ready to kill people. Anyway, all that fun stuff. There we go. Where was I? The name grouper is derived from a cartoon frog, a variant of Pepe the Frog meme widely used among extreme online groups. That's the mascot. And that Pepe the Frog is like, if you guys have seen anything about that guy, Tyler, what's his name? Tyler Robinson? Is that it? The 22-year-old that says he took Charlie Kirk's life. If you've seen pictures of him wearing a black Adidas sweatsuit with the white stripes, like on the long pants and the long sleeves, and then the like real specific shoes, probably the Adidas black shoes with the white stripes. I don't even know. I've seen some stuff about it online, but that outfit has to do with that same character, the Pepe the Frog. And then all of the sayings on the shell casings of the ammo, all of those sayings are from whatever computer game that connects up with this weird stuff. So it's all like Nick Fuentes groupies, I guess, is one way of saying it. So tactics. Groupers often use online memes and trolling to spread propaganda and normalize extremist views. They have also engaged in coordinated entryist tactics, including disrupting events to challenge mainstream conservative figures. And see, this well could be, I don't think we can jump to that conclusion that that's what this was with Charlie Kirk. I don't think it's a good idea to jump to that conclusion any more than it was a good idea to jump to the conclusion about trans stuff. And now maybe there is some stuff about his roommate being trans, but it's too early in the game. Like that's just brand new in the last few hours. So we need to like let it unfold. So the shooter's roommate is actually the person that turned him in, possibly also. But what else was it that I wanted to say about that? That if indeed this was a groupers kind of thing that he did, then who for all we know, some of these groupers got hired as Charlie Kirk's security crew. For all we know. For all we know, Donnie prompted it to get a nice distraction and to try to set off the Civil War to permanently distract from the 18,000 emails and the 238 pages of the birthday book. But again, it's too early to jump to those conclusions. So here I am just putting these out as ideas and questions. Although I'll be honest, I think that there's something to that for sure. So some of the stuff that they were thinking was like transphobic or whatever on the engraved in the ammo was actually like stuff engraved in the ammo from the company that makes the ammo. It's like trans is like the company or something. So that's on the ammo. And then the other thing about like, notice the bulge or something like that, something about the bulge. And they're making, it's like an inside joke referencing being able to identify drag queens in public because you see the bulge. And then that whole thing about you're gay if you're reading this, that's a whole Charlie Kirk inside joke, I guess. So all of the things written on the shell casings were inside joke types of things connecting to the one video game that also connects to the Nick Fuentes thing. I don't know what the game is. We'll see if it is in here. The tactics, I think I already said all of that, including disrupting events to challenge mainstream conservative figures. America First. Fuentes and his followers have built a movement around the America First slogan. Well, and it's weird because Trumpster Fire is always using that slogan. So maybe he's tight with Fuentes. I mean, we know that Fuentes is a supporter of the Trumpster Fire, but maybe the Trumpster Fire is a supporter of the Fuentes and of the groupers, for all we know. Because I didn't know that America First was a Nick Fuentes thing. I mean, I barely knew who Nick Fuentes was. I think he was the guy who was celebrating when Roe versus Wade got overturned, and he was like, ha, 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 you don't have control over your bodies. We have control over your bodies. I mean, it was really sick. I'm pretty sure that was Nick Fuentes. I can look it up. Let's see. His followers have built a movement around the America First slogan, hosting their own America First political action conference as a rival to the conservative political action conference. Oh, so now that I see the frog, I've seen that disgusting frog before. It almost looks like a racist frog too, with the bulging eyes and big lips, like they're being really gross. And maybe was Nick Fuentes, let's see, was Nick Fuentes the one that said, you don't have control over your bodies, we have control over your bodies? I'm pretty sure it was. Let's see. Yes, AI agrees with me. Thank you, AI. That's nice to be agreed with, right? Validated. Yes, white nationalist and anti-Semitic podcaster Nick Fuentes made comments to this effect in November 2024 following DJT's re-election. On November 5th, 2024, Fuentes posted, "Your body, my choice forever." What a sick MF on the social media platform X. What a sick man. But see, that's the problem is like Donnie's a grapist. He's been convicted of grape. That assault against E.G. Keene is a grape. She's not sure whether it was his member or his finger. I mean, she was really traumatized. And they were standing up in the dressing room at whatever fancy store they were at in New York City. You guys know what store. Anyway, it doesn't matter what store, although I'm sure it's just part of her trauma. Anyway, so she doesn't know for sure what he penetrated her with. But it's written in his conviction that he's a grapist, that he graped her, that it doesn't matter what part of his body he penetrated her with. Sorry, my words are out of order. Man, it's annoying. I can't think of the name of the store. Do you have it here? I'll look it up because I hate it when my brain doesn't pull things up that it should. It knows the name of the store. I keep thinking Hermes, but that's not it. Bergdorf and Goodman? Is it? That's not it either, is it? Anyway, in a subsequent live stream, he escalated this rhetoric, saying to his audience, "Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again. Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies." Yep, that's him. What a sick MF. This comment was a misogynistic inversion of the pro-choice phrase, "my body, my choice," and became a rallying cry for other misogynists online. So in the event that this 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, I think that's his last name, I have it in my notes, but anyway, if it all pans out about him being a hardcore Nick Fuentes follower because there's a fatality and because it was an assassination, that's not going to be good for Nick Fuentes at all. Even if he kind of had nothing to do with it, like directly, but everything to do with it indirectly, that's going to be the end of his winning again. Ugh. Following Fuentes' comments, social media platforms saw a surge in misogynistic and threatening posts directed at women, with many repeating the phrase. Fuentes later characterized his remarks as trolling and cheap rage bait. See, that's all it is. But they contributed to a significant increase in online harassment and abuse towards women. These people are so gross and they don't care. You know, whether it's intended or unintended consequences, I don't think they care. Otherwise, he'd make a public statement about it, right? What a sick pile of crap he is. Here. What store was E. Jean Carroll assaulted in the dressing room of? Bergdorf and Goodman. Oh my goodness, the brain worked. And it's almost 10 o'clock and it's still working. That's crazy. So this is what's so interesting. If you know about this case, I honestly didn't know that much about it, but she's been speaking publicly online on YouTube, and she's brilliant. I love this woman, E. Jean Carroll. I think she's in her early 80s now, and she's so articulate and she's so funny. And the poor woman has spent like her entire life fighting this rat bastard who's the freaking president. But I don't think anything happened with it until this. On June 21st, 2019, E. Jean Carroll published an article in New York Magazine titled Hideous Men, stating that DJT had actually assaulted her in late 1995 or early 1996 in the Bergdorf Goodman department store in New York City. So she put it in the newspaper article because she's a writer. That's like what she's done for a living her whole life. And she socialized with him and Ivana and her husband. But I think she was already divorced when she was assaulted. And I don't think she's ever been remarried. 11 witnesses testified in that trial. That's interesting. And then why it took decades to make the accusation. I won't read all this, but I think she was just so traumatized, you know, like, what do you do with that? Like, one of the richest men in the city that you live in. And you know that if you make the accusation, you're going to have a target on your back. You know that he has hundreds of millions of dollars to sue you with, and that you don't have hundreds of millions of dollars, which is exactly what happened. So he sued her for defamation, and that's where she won the over $81 million lawsuit, was because of that, because of him trying to sue her for defamation. His own lies cost him over $80 million. The actual assault cost him $5 million in civil court. Let's see what else you're saying here. It's hard to baby proof. Oh yeah, I know. And I mean, I guess I really didn't need to, because the baby was only a couple months old. I mean, he's like 6 months old almost right now, I think. And it was right before the 4th of July. But, you know, especially as a grandmother, you want to make sure it's all baby proof. You just don't want anything to happen. It was very stressful. And yeah, nobody helped me. The only thing they could do to help was stay out of the way. And yeah, that probably made me want to leave my husband. That's probably what it was. Now I'm remembering. I'm like, I just got to stay together with him for the grandbaby visit, and then we'll take care of it after that. It was nice to know that I had a friend that I could go stay with, you know. It's always nice to know you have options. I mean, I wasn't going to try to kick him out, and then especially with the kids visiting. Am I being too honest for my YouTube? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I loved that I can be honest with my YouTube. And appropriately honest. I mean, I wouldn't want to say too much, right? But if he ever sees this, he can laugh it off with me, or we can have a good heart to heart. Either way. Let's see. Oh, now I get it. I just knew not to like anything with the frog cartoon. Not that any of it was likable. Yeah. I don't really get it. If you want to enlighten me, Annabise. And yeah, it's a really rude looking frog. Like, frogs are cool, but that frog is not cool. I can show it to people for anybody who is curious, doesn't want to look it up. I'm just going to say it. Fuentes is a Latino last name. So is Nick Latino. Don't they hate us? It is really funny that he's a white supremacist, huh? But I mean, so is Cash Patel, isn't he? I mean, we know that JD Vance is, and he said about Usha, he said when people were slamming her for not being white, he was like, oh, come on, Usha can't help it if she's not white. She's like, dude, way to stand up for your wife and kids. And Vance denies that his kids are interracial. It's just, I don't know, maybe they're not his kids, because we all know that he's really lovers with Peter Thiel, and that his marriage to her is just a beard. So maybe he didn't impregnate her. Maybe somebody else did. I don't know. I mean, they're kind of dark skinned, but not as dark skinned as her. I mean, the kids are beautiful. She's beautiful. He's such a gross guy, man. What a disgusting person. You know, to be a white supremacist and to be married to somebody and to have children that aren't white, like, ugh, that's so disgusting. You would think that he would like check himself, like, ugh, this is so gross. I mean, white supremacists are gross anyway, but that's like beyond comprehension. But then, like, that's where Dave Chappelle got his whole start with his comedy. Remember that? He was the blind black white supremacist. Do you guys remember that when he started his first season? The blind black white supremacist. So he didn't know that he was black in his character skit. That's what made him famous. And it was very cutting edge, and it was very cunning. I was going to look up the gross frogs. Nick Fuentes Gloria frog. A groper. Yeah, that's what I meant. It knew what I meant. Okay, so, ew, how gross can they be, and why? Why? Oh my God, is he doing what it looked? I thought he was like being a master debater. So that's the weird frog you can kind of see. Like, what is up with that? So they have their t-shirts. Oh man, the face is just so nasty. So when you see this online, then you know that that's what they're talking about. They're talking about these disgusting, sexist, white supremacist douchebags that, yeah, I'm going to put that down and move on. Gross. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I don't want to know. It's hurting my head. That's kind of funny that they couldn't tell the difference between his D or his finger. You're right, Annabise. It is funny. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, it's just so disgusting that, I mean, it was probably his member, because, you know, Donnie wants what he wants when he wants it. And, you know, he attacked her in a dressing room. Oh, so this was interesting when I was listening to some of these stories. Not just her. Do you want to shut the door, honey? I'm just finishing up.
Where's Jane?
She's at Olivia's. I had the house all to myself, and now I don't. So I had my door wide open so the dogs could come and go as they please. And what was I saying about something? Oh, E. Jean Carroll. And then there was this other person that he tried to jump her bones. And she was married to one of his friends, and he took her furniture shopping. And he's the one who told the story. It's coming back to me. He told the story about taking her furniture shopping to try to F her, his friend's wife, because that whole cucking thing that they're into, especially him, he's like the king cucker. He told that story to Billy Bush on the Access Hollywood bus right after the grabbing him by the the Kit Kat. He told the story about taking this woman shopping. So that's his MO. That's his modus operandus, because then he can get them alone in a car and he can get them alone in a store. So he took E. Jean Carroll shopping. I can't remember what the whole story was right now, but it was something about buying a birthday present. Like maybe he was going to buy her a birthday present. Let me see if AI knows anything about it, and then we'll get to wrapping up because we're getting towards 90 minutes. Let's see. What were Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll shopping for at Bergdorf and Goodman when he assaulted her in the dressing room? According to E. Jean Carroll's testimony, she was shopping for a gift for another woman with Donald Trump at Bergdorf Goodman and ended up in the lingerie section. The alleged assault occurred after Trump suggested Carroll try on a bodysuit, and they entered a dressing room together. God, this is nauseating. The initial encounter in 1996, Carroll said she ran into Trump near the entrance of Bergdorf and Goodman, where he asked for her help in buying a present for a girl. Moving to the lingerie section, after Carroll suggested a handbag or a hat, Trump reportedly led her to the store's 6th floor lingerie department instead. Suggestion to try on an item, Carroll testified that Trump found a sheer gray bodysuit and jokingly encouraged her to try it on. She responded with a joke suggesting that he try it on instead. The assault, Carroll said they entered a dressing room where the alleged assault occurred. A jury later found Trump liable for the abuse. Oh, but not rape as defined by the New York law. That's interesting that that's what it says here, because that wasn't my understanding, but I bet they reworded this because of the newscaster who used the R word. And then I don't think it was Stephanopoulos. I think it was the other guy. Let me see. AI has a better brain than me right now, for sure. Who was the newscaster Donald Trump sued for saying that he raped E. Jean Carroll? So it was ABC, the $15 million. It was George Stephanopoulos. Okay, well, there we go. My brain was working. What do you know? When you least expect it, right? Yeah. And, Anna Bees, I'm glad you said that. You don't mean to make fun of such a serious situation, but it is funny on Donnie's part because, yeah, he has a really small member, according to Stormy Daniels. I have just seen memes with the ugly frog. I don't know why they use that. Yeah, I have no idea. And I could ask AI, but I'm sick of having a conversation with AI. Yes, I remember him telling the story about taking a woman shopping. Yeah, to buy furniture, and it was a ploy. It was totally a ploy. He's like, "I'll take your furniture shopping," but it was weird because when he was telling that story, and I heard it just like a month ago, all of a sudden it clicked. Like, oh, so that was his modus operandus, like with E. Jean Carroll. He runs into her in front of the store. Oh, can you help me pick out a gift for a female? I mean, what a scumbag. Like, he knew exactly what department he was going to take her to. And, to a remote corner where they could, like, not be interrupted. How horrific to be assaulted inside of a store. Like, your mind just doesn't go there. Your mind thinks when you're in a department store, no one's going to do that to you. You're in a freaking store. Wow. So gross. So gross. So, yeah, the public needs to stay focused on this monster's involvement with little e doing that same type of thing to children, allegedly, focusing on little e's emails. 18,000 emails dropped 48 hours ago. The 238-page birthday book, what was that, just 5 days ago? And then the 30 birthday cards or letters that refer to him being a horrible criminal, a horrible life-wrecking criminal. And one last thing before I hang up, I wanted to mention by name the other little e victim that was basically Epsteined in 2017. I'll just ask the phone rather than trying to page through all my stuff. Who are the 3 Epstein victims who killed themselves? Because one is Virginia, one is the Carolyn Adriano, and then the other one is and it just wants to talk about Virginia Giuffre. So I'm going to ask it besides. Who were the other Epstein victims? Besides Virginia Giuffre, who were the other Epstein victims that were found overdosed in their hotel rooms? Carolyn Adriano is the one from 2023. And then Lee Sky Patrick is the one that had an identical twin, and that was May of 2017. So I'll just read you real quick what it says about each of them. Carolyn Adriano, in May 2023, the 36-year-old was found deceased of an accidental OD, and I don't buy it. I mean, it's possible, but it's easy to Epstein somebody. Especially not in their home. Like, that makes a person more vulnerable. Okay, so in a West Palm Beach hotel room, Adriano was a key witness against Jiz and had spoken openly about her struggles with drug addiction, which she linked to the abuse she suffered at Epstein's hands. So this is less than a year after Jiz was sentenced. Jiz was sentenced June 28th of 2022. 2 weeks and 2 days later, Ivana down the flight of stairs. Lee Sky Patrick, in May 2017, the 29-year-old passed away of an accidental rug overdose in a West Palm Beach hotel room. Her twin sister had stated that Patrick's rug addiction issues began after she met Epstein. So they were really close to the same age, basically. She was 29 in 2017, and then Carolyn was 36 in 2023. So Lee Sky Patrick might be like a year younger, but they were basically the same age. So they were probably abused around the same time too, because we know he had that certain age of 14. I think he got his cherry popped when he was 14. I think that that's why he's so fixated on that age. It's so sad. So here's a Yahoo article. More than 24 people linked to E have passed under mysterious circumstances. I'll put a link to that in the, here, let me do it right now, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to do it right now so I don't forget. And then I'll read your comments and then we'll sign off here. Isn't it cool that I can put stuff in the description while I'm live? So then if anybody is interested, they can go to it right away. Because sometimes I don't get to it right away, or sometimes I forget, which is why I review my videos. That's the main reason I review my videos, is in case I said, oh, I'll put a link to that in the description, and then I didn't write it down or I forget or whatever. I don't want to do that to people. Although I know anybody can look up anything. It's just nice. Like you might not know what you're looking for, so it's nice to have a link. Yeah. Yeah, I remember him telling the story about taking a woman shopping. Well, see, and it's funny too, because, you know, funny, not funny. Because he bragged about walking into the women's dressing rooms. I mean, girls' dressing rooms of the Miss Teen pageants. And then douchebag Michael Cohen tried to say in an interview, that interview with Tara Palmieri, like, oh, I think he just likes to brag and bluster. I don't even believe that he ever did that. Because Michael Cohen was always at those teen beauty pageants too. So he was trying to pretend that he knew nothing about anything like that ever happening. Remember when I was talking about this a few weeks ago? So I'll put a link in the description of that like hour interview that Michael Cohen did with Tara Palmieri, the one that I was like flipping out over for many videos. So he's denying that he thinks that that ever happened. He thought that he was trying to say that he thought Trumpster Fire was lying. I don't think that in the interview that, I can't remember, Tara might have said something like, you know, but there were women who came forward and said that they had been walked in on by him when they were half dressed when they were teenagers. So I know some of my viewers had mentioned that in the live chat too, that it's like, yeah, people have stepped forward, especially now, like, you know, with the victims coming forward last week, or what was that, on the 3rd, when they spoke on the steps of Congress. Let's see, there were, I think, 1 or 2 that had been walked in on in the dressing room. I think, I'm pretty sure. I know some people have come forward recently saying that that happened to them. And it's just really gross. It's one thing if it happens accidentally. It's another thing to know that the man is bragging that he did that on purpose because he felt like it, because he owned the place. He could do whatever the F he wanted, which is exactly how this Nick Fuentes acts, exactly how this disgusting pig that is our president at the moment, and hopefully not for many more moments. Hopefully he can be forced to resign, like that douchebag Peter Mendelkern or whatever the guy is from the UK that I read the thing about earlier today. I'm getting all bleary-eyed. Ugh, 3 children. Okay, wait, what? Who again gave triplets to E? No one is saying anything about those 4 children, 3 children. Thank you, Patricia Moss. I know I made a really short live a few days ago, and I'll put a link to it in the description. And it's got for the thumbnail, it's got the 3 little girls like whispering in each other's ears, so you can't really see their faces. And that's what I'm saying is, so the French triplets, identical triplets, were a 50th birthday gift from Jean-Luc Brunel to Jeffrey, that same 50th birthday that whole freaking birthday book was given to him at. So Donnie was allegedly there in the birthday book and a party to the celebrations. So if his best friend has triplets for a birthday gift, I'm sorry to say this, trigger warning, but I just can't imagine that Jeffrey didn't share his disgusting, perverted crimes with his bestie. And nobody knows what happened to those triplets. I know that Virginia Gouffre knew all about it, and she's not alive anymore. Jean-Luc Brunel knew all about it, and he's not alive anymore. Little E knew all about it. Oh, wait, he's not alive either. And probably Ivana probably knew. And Jiz knows, which is why Jiz has leverage over him. But my belief is that is why he went ape shit crazy over the birthday letter. Not so much because of the letter, because, yeah, the letter's bad, but a lot of the crap he does is bad. And he just says, yeah, well, locker room talk. But that letter is probably triggering him to what happened that was probably really, really, really rancid and disgusting. And for all we know, could have involved snuff, for all we know, in my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. What happened to those triplets? They were French models. They were 12 years old. Their parents were broke. Jean-Luc Brunel said, I'll take them to America and get you all kinds of money. And yeah, vomit. He needs to be interrogated about that, I believe. President or not president. And again, these crimes that he committed 22 years ago, I don't think there's any statute of limitation on statutory, let me see, or child abuse. Let's see what AI says about that. Is there a statute of limitations on child sex abuse in New York? And I'm not sure that the gift happened in New York. It might have happened in Palm Beach or the island. Okay, so this is what it says in response to that question. Yes, a victim of child sex abuse can seek justice in New York, as the Child Victims Act has significantly changed the statutes of limitations. The CVA extends the time limits for civil and criminal cases, and it also provided a 1-year look-back window starting August 14th, 2019, during which any survivor of childhood sexual abuse could file a civil lawsuit even if the statute of limitations had expired. I feel like vomiting. August 14th of 2019. I could just cry. Wasn't Jeffrey's date of death like August 10th of 2019? Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, August 10th, 2019. So 4 days later, they passed that law. This is really crushing. I don't think that's a freaking coincidence. I mean, here you have the most prolific criminal of that sort in the history of our country that we know of. And 4 days after he passes away, they make it better for the victims. I mean, I'm glad they made it better for the victims, but I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that's possible that that can be a coincidence. So you had President Trump at that time. You had William Barr as the Attorney General at that time. Oh, before I wrap up, I want to mention Alex Acosta. That's the other thing that's being obfuscated with all of this crap. So Alex Acosta was interviewed on the 8th. Today's the 13th. So that the 8th was Tuesday, wasn't it? Tuesday night. Monday night was when the birthday book was uploaded to the cloud. No, it was the same day. Monday was the 8th. That was a bad day for Donnie. So Alex Acosta was interviewed on the 8th, the same day that that book was uploaded. Alex Acosta's the architect of the sweetheart deal that Donnie implicates himself into the sweetheart deal by appointing Alex Acosta to be his Secretary of Labor in his first administration. That was 2018. And then when Jeffrey was arrested in 2019, Alex Acosta was forced to resign immediately, like the very next day, I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to bother looking it up. But so the birthday book and Alex Acosta were both on Monday. I'm telling you, I fully expected El Presidente to blow up the world with nuclear weapons to try to avoid suffering the consequences of his actions, and with all this fallout on Monday. And then 3 days later, I think it was on the 11th, that the emails came out. They might have come out on the 10th. I'm going to just ask one more question to AI and then I'll stop, I promise. When did the 18,000 Epstein emails go public? A cache of over 18,000 emails from Jeffrey Epstein's personal Yahoo account was obtained and reported on by Bloomberg News on September 11th, 2025. What a glorious day to do that, you know, like seriously, 9/11. The emails were not unsealed by a court, but were acquired by the news organization. The communications spanned 2 decades from 02 to 22 through the account, though the account was most active between 05 and 08. Oh, and see, those are the ones where Donnie's mentioned, a couple hundred of them. Relationship with Maxwell, connections to elites, specific revelations. Let me read. I'm just going to read the stuff about the little D. An email from 2006 shows little E instructing Jiz to remove little D from the power list. A quote unquote power list. Donnie's on the effing power list, you guys. And then the communications reveal that Epstein and Maxwell planned a fertility treatment together because they're absolutely disgusting. And then you got to remember that there was the $1 billion that Trumpster Fire paid to little E over the course of however long they knew each other, at least 15 years that Donnie will admit to, probably much longer. Yeah, it would be more like 24 because starting in 87 at the latest is when they first were crossed paths. I'm going to guess that they crossed paths with all of that crap in the USSR. 87. Leningrad, St. Petersburg. And recently, Donnie was talking about Leningrad with when he was in Russia, Alaska with Daddy Vladdy. So yeah, I am going to sign off, my dears. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Oh, Valerie. Where's Valerie? Hello. Where are we going? Oh, you are so sweet, Patricia. So yeah, the 3 children. I wish we could find out more about it, Patricia. I think people just need to talk about it because yeah, it took me a while to remember. It was just like a week ago where I was like threading it together and I wasn't even realizing that the gift was to Epstein. I was thinking that the gift was to Brunel. The gift, like that's so effing gross. The triplets. I want to know what Donnie knows about those triplets. It seems like everybody who knows anything about those triplets is not alive except for Jiz, and her days are probably numbered. Hello. Thanks, Jazzy. I will start contributing to all your wonderfulness on the 22nd of this month. You don't have to do that, my dear. I love the sentiment behind it is priceless. Thank you. And let's see, and the parents ever get their children back? Like, I don't know, Annabise. As far as I know, it's been a mystery what happened to those triplets. I mean, for all we know, they're still in a freaking dungeon and they're living a handmaid's tale. And I'll just say it, with Kylie Rodney, for all we know. Because I hadn't mentioned Kylie Rodney yet. But, you know, I'm serious when I say that. Like, I know that it's far-fetched, but anything is possible. Oh, I'm just nauseated. I really need to know where they are. I know, Patricia, let's go on a mission. Like, when I made that video a few days ago, that 13-minute one, I was hoping that it would like go viral or something and that people would be like, yeah, we got to find out what happened to those 12-year-old triplets. Because I personally believe that there's a deep, dark secret there that Donnie's completely losing his crap over. And that whole birthday book and letter are triggering him because he's got a big, gross secret that if anybody found out, he would be put in prison for the rest of his life. In my opinion, allegedly. Yeah, I really want to know too, Patricia. Yeah, you guys, like we can all do digging. Like I've Googled, like, I think what they would be 36 years old because it was 03. It was 22 years ago. Yeah, they'd be 36 years old. I've Googled 36-year-old French model triplets and nothing comes up basically. I mean, stuff comes up, but not what I'm looking for. Question away, Jazzy. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. No one is talking about them. I know, Patricia. I don't understand. Why don't I have thousands of viewers? I mean, that's the real reason why I'm just so happy that I have a channel at all, because I know for a fact that some content creators look at my videos to get ideas because I just throw so many ideas in there. You just never know. It's like a freaking smorgasbord, right? You just never know what you're going to get. You might get a story about Kiefer. You might get a story about Bergdorf and Goodman. I mean, I'm not real focused. I do try, but I'm happy to be here. And, you know, I don't want to like package stuff on my channel to sell it to be like a big channel. That's just not my thing. I just want people to pay attention to what's important. And like those triplets are important. So I was hoping by making the video really short but 13 minutes isn't really short. I guess I could try to make one that's like 1 minute TikTok video. I mean, maybe I could clip something from it. I can try. I can look at it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Love you guys. Thank you. Answered my question on how old they would be. Yes. Well, thanks you guys for caring, and thanks for listening, and thanks for, what's the word? Participating. Brain is totally flatlining. So we will see you soon. Love and light, you guys. Have a really good night. Thanks again.